How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Well, it's Thursday here on this program. We got a lot to get into here today. Always news on Wrestling Observer Live. And obviously a lot coming out of AEW Dynamite last night. A lot of news coming out of that show. We're going to do the full AEW Dynamite report here on the program today. We have also got a lot of news as WrestleMania is right around the corner. Next week, we got a Monday and Friday go-home shows for WrestleMania. Show airs April 2nd and April 3rd. And we have the full lineup here. And there has been a change to the lineup of WrestleMania. So hopefully you didn't buy a bunch of tickets wanting to see this AJ Styles Edge match on night 2. Because it ain't there anymore. So we will tell you about the current lineup for WrestleMania. As noted, MJF did an interview with Ariel Helwani, which is interesting for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about that here today on the show. And we've also got NXT ratings from Tuesday night. This, of course, was the show featuring the finals of the Women's Dusty. Yes, we have updates on Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal, and also an arrest of Conor McGregor. You know how these things go in mixed martial arts. We'll say about that. Paige Van Zant will be fighting again for bare knuckle fighting championships, even though she is under a deal with AEW, which is actually one of the reasons she went to AEW and not WWE. WWE didn't want her getting punched in the face bare knuckle. They wanted an exclusive deal, and AEW offered her a non-exclusive deal, allowing her to do that, so she's there. And plenty more as well. Mike Sempervive joins us after the break. Stick around, everybody. Wrestling Observer Live. Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Well, let's get going. WWE's made a change. I thought plans didn't change. I thought this was a cop-out by people like me and Dave. WWE's made a change for WrestleMania. They now list AJ and Edge for Night 1. The match was originally announced for Night 2. After Edge issued an open challenge for everybody to face him, Styles stepped up, confirmed as Edge's WrestleMania opponent 3 weeks ago. Edge then turned heel and laid out Styles with 2 concertos. So now here's a new card. Hopefully you didn't buy tickets for Night 2 and now you're mad. We got Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. We got Becky Lynch against Bianca Belair. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin on the KO show. Edge and AJ Styles. Miz and Logan Paul versus Rey and Dominic. Drew versus Happy Corbin. And Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. And then for Night 2, we have Lesnar and Reigns, McAfee and Theory, Sami Zayn and Knoxville, the 4-way women's tag, and the 3-way men's tag. So, by my calculations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches for Night 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we've got Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes most likely. Looks like that would be Night 2. So you know what that would mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on Night 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on Night 2.
You think a Ricochet title defense is
No,
going to
of course not, you idiot. Hey, listen, I'm not saying, okay, please don't report this. I'm not saying...
Report it.
I'm not saying that there's going to be a Kevin Owens Steve Austin match on Night 2, okay? But I've been thinking for a long time that if Steve Austin is willing to do even a short match, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all that Stone Cold Steve Austin KO show appearance leads to a match on Night 2. I don't think it's impossible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I have literally zero inside information on this. But just looking at that's on Night 1, we have way more match. They actually moved a match off Night 2 to Night 1. So there's way... And listen, come on, everybody. I'm not saying that this is... There may be another match they have planned, but the point is, let's look at this. How long do you think Lesnar-Roman Reigns is going to go? 30 minutes? No. Unlikely.
Yeah.
How long do you think that women's 4-way is going to go?
Well, 15? They could.
I mean, Sammy and Knoxville are probably going to put in some smoke and mirrors time. I don't picture Austin Theory and Pat McAfee going an extended amount of time.
I hope not.
And then we've got the 3-way tag match, which if it's anything like a Raw 3-way tag, it's probably 16 minutes. So there's a lot of time left on Night 1, which obviously like most of that will be filled with video packages because we got to see these video packages. Recaps of Night 1, video packages for Night 2.
But, don't forget, they got to bring all the NIL kids out. Anybody that's been signed to an NIL deal, I wonder if they'll bring them all out on
smoke
stage,
and mirrors, you dork! Not smoking mirrors. Every time I glance over that chat, I get angry.
Slime_Roy, smoking mirrors, really?
Jiminy Christmas. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But that's the change to WrestleMania, and we'll see what that means. Then we got this. On an episode...
Wait, hold on. Where do you put Omos? If you're going to do an Omos singles match
It'll be
against
2
anybody.
minutes. It'll be 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Are we even going to have an Andre Battle Royal? Is that going to be the pre-show?
Does not look like there's going to be an Andre Battle. If there is a Battle Royal, it would be on the like on the SmackDown or something on Friday.
Well, I guess Ricochet is going to be the pre-show then. I would assume at least.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
On an episode of the Ariel Helwani Show, MJF addressed rumors of WWE interest, bullying he received while in middle school, and the AEW departure of Cody. He said WWE's Bruce Pritchard is a particularly big fan of his. Bruce Pritchard and me go way back, he said. When he was in MLW as one of the lead producers there, would watch me do promos. I mean, he was floored by me, absolutely enamored by me. I was the prettiest girl of the ball. I love Bruce. I think he's a hell of a guy, has a hell of a mind. I think he produces incredible television, he continued. MJ was willing to answer any questions about whether WWE's reached... He was unwilling to answer any questions about whether they've reached out from him. But later confirmed his AEW contract expires January 1, 2024. He said he will not consider re-signing with them earlier than that, unless the money offered was absolutely astronomical. As far as how I've been reached out to, legally it's not smart for me to answer that question, but what I can say emphatically is that there is an absurd amount of interest in me, he said. He said he received interest from WWE prior to signing with AEW as well. I believe I was 22 at the time, he said. I knew there was serious interest in me in WWE, but again, I thought to myself, are they going to let me be me? That's my biggest thing. He spoke with Tony Khan at length about Mid-South, AWA, Buddy Landel, and Butch Reed, and realized the AEW president understood him. He continues to be a fan of WWE's product, however. I think they're doing great. I love everything WWE is doing. I just think we're fresh, and we have fresh faces that people haven't seen before. MJF said he is a fan of NXT as well. They had made out a competition this past Tuesday. Gripping competition. How can you not like... Oh, they had a makeout competition this past Tuesday. How can you not like a makeout competition? He said the story he told on Dynamite about experiencing bullying in school for being Jewish was 110% the truth. He was 11 at the time, tried out for the middle school football team. There was a lot of Gentiles, if you will, on the football team, he said. I was one of only 2 Jews on the entire team because Jewish kids are supposed to be accountants, doctors, lawyers. We're not supposed to steer away from that and try to do contact sports. I was in a weird position. At the time, the kids were not a fan of the Jew boy taking their spot. I was so stoked, I thought I was going to be able to make friends, and then all these kids rolled up on me, pun intended, with quarters, and they chucked them at me as hard as they could. MJF confirmed this happened on the same day that he saw CM Punk at an autograph signing at the mall. That was brought up in the build for the Revolution dog collar match. He was asked about Cody leaving AEW for reportedly WWE, and said he wishes Rhodes luck, and that he hopes they both find happiness at a boatload of money. I respect what he's doing as a businessman. Quite frankly, by 2024, if people have an issue with me leaving to go make real money, then me and him are going to be fighting on the same exact island. He also confirmed he's actively seeking to break into movies and television as well. Talks about his agent. He's got voiceover work for an animated film that will be released next year. You know the greatest thing about being MJF?
What's that?
Well, his character is the most unlikable heel. And so this is like the greatest interview that you could possibly do. I love Bruce Pritchard. I love WWE programming. I'll go there if the money is right. Like, storyline-wise, pushing the buttons of the AEW fans, I mean, it's the greatest interview you can possibly do. And it's also all true. I don't know what MJF's going to do in 2024, okay? Here's the thing. Obviously, and I think that probably everybody, including MJF, because he said it right here, would agree. AEW is a better fit for him. Why? Because in AEW, he's going to be allowed to be him. He may still be, they may rename him like Michael Jackson Fauntleroy or whatever when he goes to WWE, and he'll largely, be able to be his character. But I'm not sure in WWE that you're going to get away with the line about how I'm gonna tie him to the cross like Jesus. What do you think about that?
Nail him up.
There's a lot of... He says things in his promos that, they'll let him say in AEW, but that ain't going to fly in WWE. Now, the thing with MJF is he's a fantastic promo. He could make it work in WWE. He doesn't need to do... If you take away some of those things he's allowed to say in AEW... It's not like now he's going to be a bad promo. He can still be a fantastic WWE promo, but he will be a WWE promo. He will not be an AEW promo, okay? But at the end of the day, we have this prediction show. I don't know where this bloke's going to go. I don't know what he's going to do, but I know one thing. 2024, he's going to be a millionaire, one way or the other. So good for him.
Hell yeah. It's the great thing about MJF, and that's some of the things when he does a lot of the tired and the cheap stuff. It's like, don't. Do some of your inventive stuff. Do some of your good stuff. I mean, in introducing Yiddish, some of the, and just his overall promo, he is fantastic, no matter what it is. So he can do everything. That's why people have been on him for so long, because he's just a natural for this business. He's a natural on the microphone, and he is fantastic. And I think that line, which we'll get to a little bit later on, that he ad-libbed, I think was very overblown.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Anything else on MJF before we move on here, Mike?
Not really, no. I mean, as far as what that promo goes, there were three things last night that seemed to be really blown up because I didn't see the show till today. But there seemed to be three hot points out of the show last night, one of which was MJF referencing Jesus, obviously, and saying he was going to nail Wardlow to the cross, which was an ad-lib, and he had just talked about, during the promo. And then, with Ariel there, some of the things that have happened to him in the past. And, because of being Jewish. So then you get a Jesus chant, and he doesn't know that there's a guy dressed as Jesus there, and you get this Jesus chant. And to me, the I'm going to nail Wardlow up like Jesus, it shut everybody up. It was, I guess, if you were very conservative or very Christian, maybe you took offense to that, but I didn't think it was beyond the pale at all. I would have thought later on in the show, when Vicky Guerrero, how it was seemingly online and in our forum and on Twitter and places like that, I would have thought she cut a Strom Thurmond, I'm not sure who the most anti-immigration senator is now, but I would have thought she would have done the whole ICE card and everything else. And then I watch it and it's like, it was cheap. You could say it was old. You could say it was tired, but it was also very quick. And it was a distraction to get Nyla Rose out to attack her. So it was like, I thought that was overblown as far as some of the reaction went. And then the other one was, oh God, what was the other thing that people were the Sammy's skeeting on the belt was, again, how it was. I mean, to me, the stuff on Twitter that they post is a lot more, I would assume, I say racy or controversial or whatever, a lot more than that line, which again, you could say it was, low rent. But to me, that wasn't as bad as him just coming out and going, let's have you start an ass chant for the crowd where it's like that wasn't needed. Like Jade throwing the S word out. It's like, to me, that was more obnoxious than the line about Lambert where, the heel, again, it was dirty. But I thought it was effective. You could say it was low rent and crass, but I thought it was effective. And I thought the pushback to those three things.
Well, hey, listen, I got to say something
I thought
about
was
one of those.
way, way overblown.
Listen, everybody. Listen, I have no inside information, okay? I have no inside information. But I'm just going to ask you a question since this was brought up. So Thunder Rosa does an interview sometime in the last couple of days and mentions that she really did not like that angle where Brock Lesnar had the mariachi band and he did that deal. She really didn't like that. And then on the very next television show, a heel comes out and says, you're not even a real Mexican, you don't have a green card, or whatever the line was. You're telling me that, you know what I'm saying? It's just like this MJF interview.
And the thing is, Brian,
maybe it's possible she really thought that was like a racist angle with Brock Lesnar, and then Tony Khan presented her with this angle, and she was really furious. But what is Occam's razor here? I don't know, but it seems to me like, I watch some of these interviews and I hear what some of these people say in interviews, and then all of a sudden there's stuff happening on television, and it's like, interesting.
It's almost like they're
not Occam and Razor.
Maybe working their interviews. I don't know. It comes down to, it's like, you're not even from here. You're fake. This is my state. And it's like, if they would have had a long, drawn out battle where Vicky was just really going 70s style wrestling racist and running Thunder Rosa into the ground for 5 minutes, I would have gotten it. But it was a distraction where Thunder was like, what is this bee talking about? What, women, shut up. And it was just enough time for Nyla to come out and snuff her. So to me, way overblown, and everybody, I'm inside my feelings about it. And look, you can have all the opinion that you want, but when you take it too far, I don't know. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I think everybody's way, way too deep in their feelings bags.
Spurs says, I hated the green card line. The entire Thunder Rosa segment and Nyla Rose attack was infuriating to watch. Well, there you go.
I wonder how many people, though, are just, like, sick of Vicky. And I hate to say that, but that's also part of that, too, is I wonder how many people really that Vicky has go-away heat with. As far as fans go.
Jacob here says, I am so disappointed by WWE's decision not to put Seth Rollins on WrestleMania this year. I had tickets with my buddies. We were all so excited that it would have been our first Mania, but Rollins not being booked just ruined it for all of us. He's been our favorite for years, and we canceled our tickets to prove a point. That after decades of dedication, Seth Rollins deserves to be on WrestleMania.
I wonder if Homie's going to make a pilgrimage now to the Black and Brave Academy instead of watching WrestleMania over 2 nights on the Peacock.
First 75 minutes of Dynamite, this person says, was an all-timer. Punk Harwood, 8-man tornado tag, MGF promo, Blackpool Combat Club. What a great name.
It is a great name.
Lethal Cole, all were incredible. Show was heading to being entirely great, but that awful Vicky Thunder Rosa segment and a below-average women's match dragged it down. Everything else was entertaining. Austin, Texas, also dope as a crowd. What was that sign? There was a sign on, and what was the guy's shirt on NXT? Something about dope. I can't remember. It's funny, though. It's like a ridiculous shirt.
Now,
what was it? Somebody had to have seen it.
What was the line from the WWF back in the day?
It wasn't no hope with dope. No, that's something else.
No hope for some of these dopes, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, anyway. Last night, very good Dynamite. The women's segment were the weakest points of the show, including Sammy and Ty. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that Sammy-Ty deal.
They got to be heels.
They're dating and they put them together on television. What is the problem?
I know they are filling the blanks
Who
right
cares?
now. I think for Cody and Brandy in this feud. But with that said, I mean, they're so over the top. I don't know how you're not going to be able to keep them from being heels. I guess maybe if people just love them so much. But I have a feeling if it hasn't already started to turn, they are going to be remarkable heels. And I'll say this. If the Gun Club, I can absolutely see them joining up the way things are kind of moving right now with FTR and MJF. Those tea leaves seem to be there because the Gun Club with a new gimmick, put them in suits, be more serious. I think that there's a time for them to have a gimmick change here away from being the ass boys. But with that said, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing possibly maybe, you know, some other people join the Pinnacle, possibly.
You know, the thing to me, remember I used to read fables here on this show?
Yes.
Well, there's a famous story. It's called The Little Boy Who Cried Wolf. And I haven't read this story in a long time, but I think the gist of it is there's a little boy and he keeps crying about a wolf, and all the townspeople come, and there's obviously no wolf because he's making up a story. And then, one day he cries wolf, and there actually is a wolf, and no one shows up because they think he's full of it, and he gets eaten. That's the story, right?
Yeah.
Gist of it? If not, that's my version. So anyway, bro, there is so much. You guys ever look at like the Wrestling Observer at the end of the year when they do the awards and it's like most disgusting promotional tactic, and there's a list that's like this long? It's like there's so much stuff in the wrestling business to get upset about that I see these people that they just get upset about everything. And after a while, it's like you're the boy that cried wolf. Like,
yes, that's exactly what it is.
There's plenty of stuff to get mad about. You're mad that Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara are a couple and they're together on TV as well. Why does this bother you?
Exactly.
There's plenty of horrible things in and around this business to actually get mad about. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, like, look, you can say the storyline is whack or whatever, or that they are not representing AEW well with some of the pictures if you want to be that prudish about it. If you're that prudish about it, I don't know why you're watching pro wrestling. But, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's ridiculous. But, again, to loop back around to what I was saying, and Ty and Sammy with MJF and Spears or something like that down the line, or Sammy having his own goons around him and just being obnoxious with his girl as heels, I don't know. I think they could pull it off really, really well.
Eddie's saying, did you respect their privacy like they asked for? LOL. I don't know what exactly Eddie's saying, but bro.
Right, and here's the
hold
thing.
Hold on, wait a second. If you're a couple on television, okay, you still have privacy rights as a couple off television.
Damn right.
Bro, what does one have to do with the other? If they don't want you invading their private life, They can still go on TV as a couple, and you can say whatever you want about them on TV as a couple. They're characters.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, oh, well, since they're a couple on television, now I got the right to do whatever to this couple in their private life. Because, their public life, they're a couple. What? What are you talking about, Eddie?
I know. Look, if this is an issue about Sammy and Ty, and look, I don't know. I don't follow their socials that closely, so I only see things that get retweeted and stuff like that. And
yes, I know, Sammy, that he said respect our privacy on Twitter. You still should respect their privacy. That's different than their public characters on television.
And if they're doing an act on a Twitter to draw more attention to the wrestling characters, okay, that's one thing. And you can debate, crossing the line and all that. But whatever. But still, I mean, stay out their damn business. The whole point of this was, and Sammy put his business out there with his woman. They did the thing, and they've put their business out there in some ways a lot. So, but that's separate from the wrestling aspect to me. I mean, I don't know. If Sammy wants to, why do you need to get involved? Why do you care about who he's married to or who he's boning or any of that sort of stuff? People get so tied up and involved in other people's relationships in their lives, and it's like, unless somebody's being injured or abused or something like that, what do you care? Why are you so concerned? Why people are so concerned of what happens in people's bedrooms and people's relationships and all that? It's like, get one of your damn own and get out of everybody else's.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also wrestling. Let's talk about this Dynamite report. Then we got a Rampage lineup. All right, so the show opened up with a... Oh, we didn't even talk about Connor.
Oh, God. We got to talk about Connor.
No, we don't have to. CM Punk beat Dax Harwood. Great match. CM Punk beat him. Anaconda Vice, Dax Harwood. They're clearly going babyface here, which is very interesting, as we're going to find out later when we do the MGF promo. But excellent, excellent match. CM Punk, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, everybody. I think he's a better worker now than he's ever been.
Ooh.
Yep. He was great in this match, and so was Dax. Excellent, excellent match. We had Tornado Tag, Hardys, Darby Allin, Sting, beat Private Party, Butcher, and Blade. Every crazy spot you could imagine. The big dive by Sting, the dive off the side of the building by Jeff Hardy through a table, Darby being thrown down a flight of stairs, every crazy thing you can think of. And then Sting and Matt pinned Private Party, double twist of fate, Scorpion Death Drop. Finish was a little wonky with Sting, but they made it work. And this crowd was awesome, and they were super into these matches.
Sting is awesome. Holy Moses.
We had Danielson and Moxley beating the Varsity Blondes. Just beat the goo out of them. It was awesome. And afterwards, there was the promo by Moxley, where, in fact, they have named the group the Blackpool Combat Club, the greatest name that you can say without an FCC violation for these two men. And you need to bleed, you need to sweat, and you need to enjoy pain if you want to join their club. They should hold all the championships, just so y'all know.
Wigan Snake Pit, right?
MJF did a promo. I can't help but recall that I brought up that idea about how Wardlow was going to come out for that TNT title shot, and MJF was going to say, I'm going to release you from the contract, but you have a 90-day no-compete, so you can't have your match tonight. And for 90 days, the guy was not allowed to wrestle. He'd show up and do whatever. I was ridiculed. I was mocked. I was called a fool.
You were?
And then you know what happens?
What happened?
Well, MJF says, bro, I'm not letting you out of your contract. I'm going to pay you, but I'm paying you to sit at home, just like WWE does. You're going to sit at home, make your money, and you're going to rot in obscurity. And he cackles and laughs, and Wardlow shows up, and MJF runs down his family. Wardlow gets all furious. He gets dragged out by security. And then MJF at the end of the thing says, the pinnacle is not over. And starting next week with FTR, the pinnacle will move up in the world. And, of course, FTR are clearly turning babyface. So, will the Ass Boys be joining the pinnacle? Or will that part kind of be a swerve and another team's going to show up and beat up all four guys? We'll have to find out. But something's going down next week. This was a fantastic promo, by the way.
Yes.
We had the best friends. They're no longer friends with he's a friend of me now, this Wheeler Yuta. Adam Cole beat Jay Lethal. Great match. It's Adam Cole and Jay Lethal, brother. What do you think you're going to get? So Jay Lethal goes for the lethal injection. Ref is distracted. Cole low blows him out of midair, pins him, and then cuts the promo. He wants another shot at Hangman Page, which he will be getting at some point down the road. Probably one of those Battle of the Belts specials would be my guess. And Hangman runs down, whips everybody with his belt. He gets jumped, laid out. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage make the save. So we've got Red Dragon fighting for the tag team titles, and Cole versus Page all coming. And I might add, CM Punk did this thing. He wants a belt. But which one, they asked? We'll find out.
Now stop right there, okay? Adam Page. And I know I don't want people to get all emotional about this. I like Hangman Page. I think they have made some missteps along the way with him, but all that aside, I really like him. I like him as the AEW champion. But for this not only goes for him, but for anybody, especially in a position of power. If you're going to come out there with your belt, don't walk into the ring, stare at three guys, slowly take off your belt, then start whipping them. That's one of those little things, and hopefully Lance doesn't yell at me for this. Hopefully he would agree with me for this, but have the belt with you, run out there, and then start whipping ass and doing it that way. I thought that would have been more effective, and then have him be dragged down. It would have been a more valiant attempt than just looking, I don't want to say kind of dumb, but it's kind of dumb to do something like that.
I didn't mind it at all.
Not?
And I'll
That's
tell you
fair.
why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because there were three guys in the ring, and he starts running out of the ring, and I think it was even JR was like, he said something like, he pointed out that this was probably pretty stupid to come out 1 against 3. So if you're there with two of your buddies, Mike, and you call out one guy, and this guy comes out, you're not going to immediately just jump him. You're going to look at him like, look at this dummy. And the dummy got in the ring, and they looked at him like, could you possibly be this dumb? And then he looked down, and he took off his belt, and they were like, oh, he's not that dumb. And then he started whipping him, so it actually worked.
Well, see,
until he got overwhelmed.
Then you get the dumb heels that are just standing there watching him take off his belt. To me, it's like if you're going to run out there and put yourself in that kind of harm, like the way Moxley would do it, that's the way I would probably prefer, which is take it off, you're wrapping it around, you got that big-ass Texas, Virginia belt buckle on his hand, and then he slides in there and then starts to go, and then the numbers game drags him down again. It is a picking of the nits.
No, see, Buzz here makes a good point, Mike. If that guy takes off his belt and then runs down the aisle, his pants are going to fall down.
Touche, Buzz.
Thank you. Which actually reminds me. So I got a 2-year-old. She's 2.5 now, Hanalei. And, bro, she's tiny, okay? Because she's my kid, obviously. So she's so little. So Paisley, we had, I don't think we potty trained her till she was almost 3. And she was bigger than Hanalei. So Hanalei had just turned 2. And we were going to go on that Disney cruise. And they had all these little pools and everything like that. And Hanalei was not allowed to go in any of the kids' pools unless she was potty trained. That was like the rule. You could not go in with swim diapers or whatever. So we're like, man, well, let's just do it. And so she was like, I think she had just turned, she was 2 years and like a month or 2 or something like that when we started. And amazingly, it worked great. She was totally potty trained at like 23 months or 24 months or something like that.
It's cool.
So, but then of course we went on the cruise and she didn't want to do anything except breastfeed. But the point is, it was done.
Oh, blame
So
her.
anyway, point of this is she's so small that like her tiny little clothes, she wears like 18-month clothes.
Well, how small is she?
They fit, her 18 to 24-month clothes fit if she's wearing a giant diaper. Well, now she's not in diapers. So she's got this tiny little, butt, quite frankly. And so none of her clothes fit. And so she's constantly running around the house like Hangman Page if he took his belt off. And she runs and her pants just fall down. And then she has to pull them up. And then she chases after her sister. She thinks she's Sonic the Hedgehog. And her pants fall down again. So anyway, leave that belt on, Hangman.
Get old boy and your daughter some suspenders then, too, in case they got to take their belt.
Some suspenders?
Because
Never.
Hanalei may need to take
I'd
her
rather
belt
she
off.
ran around with her buttocks hanging out than put suspenders on that poor kid.
You can only do that for so long, though, before somebody calls the
But you know who does wear suspenders?
Who does?
Fauntleroy.
Ah.
We'll get to him in a minute. We had the Sammy Ty segment, which is building up a match with, I believe it will be Ethan Page and Paige Van Zant. Paige and Paige will be facing Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara. Do we need to talk about this, or is everybody angry enough?
Oh, they're angry enough.
Then we had Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. I couldn't help but notice I went on my my Twitter here. I want to read this tweet because you know how my timeline is. So this bloke here, where is it? This is a good one. Luckily, we got a lot of time. This person here, he just wrote something like, yeah, Bryan Alvarez, not a big fan of Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet. Well, that's quite the leap, Travoris. Yeah, the match sucked. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan of either of them. Doesn't mean I think they suck. Doesn't mean I want to intrude on their private life. But no, they did not have a good match last night. Clunky, not a good match. Layla Hirsch cheated to win, hit her with a bar or something like that. And then Chris Statlander ran down after the match and made the save. We'll do the AEW Rampage lineup in a moment. Thunder Rosa promo where she was beat up by Nyla Rose. That'll be the first feud for her. And then the main event, Jericho Appreciation Society, Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Holy smokes, what a main event this was. This comeback by John Silver. And I don't want to downplay Alex Reynolds because they had a double team deal at the end where they hit like 9 moves in a row on poor Daniel Garcia. And he wasn't even, there was one spot where he was in the wrong spot and they still made it work. And this crowd just lost it at that. And then, of course, it was not the finish. And finally there at the end, Garcia, Reynolds got hit with Floyd. Garcia put him in the Scorpion Deathlock, submitted him. Bro, that match was awesome. So Jericho Appreciation Society gets to win there. This was a really, really good episode of Dynamite. We'll see how it does in the ratings tonight. You know how these ratings are. No matter what it does, I'm going to have to hear about it. But I'm not going to open Twitter, so I won't hear about it. So go do whatever, nerds. I'm out of here.
You're going to have to open
I'm going to go make a pizza.
You're going to have to post it up there. Now, is that pizza going to have a cauliflower crust?
No, I use low-carb tortillas. It's even better.
Huh.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready for the Rampage spoilers? I got a surprise for you today. I might have talked Fauntleroy into actually being on camera. Fauntleroy.
Oh.
Now's the time. Bro, come here. Are you kidding me?
Oh, come on.
I tried. I will get him on camera before all is said and done. I thought I had it today, but I can't waste anyone's time, especially people that are listening. All this dead air, not good for radio. Right, Dom?
That was your big chance, Dom.
Dom, we got dead air. I'm asking you about dead air. You're giving me dead air. All right, Fauntleroy. Get on the other mic over there. Read these spoilers.
First match, Dustin Rhodes versus Lance Archer. Second match, Alan Angels and 10 versus Red Dragon. Third match, Nyla Rose versus Maddie Renkowski. Fourth match, Ricky Starks versus Swerve Strickland for the FTW title. QT Marshall will also present Hook with a certificate of accomplishment in which nothing could possibly go
Hey,
wrong.
Fauntleroy, stop! There's no editorializing. Golly!
It seemed like Fauntleroy had a harder time with Strickland than with Renkowski.
All I know is he's done a lot better. He did way better this week than last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Getting
I helped
stronger.
him. I explained what a period was.
Can you? Never mind. Never mind.
So there you go. That's the lineup for Rampage coming up on Friday.
I hope that crowd stayed hot, which is very difficult to do after a Rampage like that or after a Dynamite like that to stay hot for Rampage. But I hope that they do because, that Swerve match, I'm ready. I'm hoping they get it right. WWE could not have gotten it. I don't want to say any more wrong with them because for a while NXT absolutely did get it right. But what they don't see that AEW, I believe, does, I hope they put him in a position, get something going, get him on Dynamite, and get him in the mix because I think he can be a big star for them.
Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal was absolutely and impeccably great. Two great professional wrestlers, cannot praise them enough. Hey, listen, if you like wrestling, have I got the show for you? Because there's a lot of it on Rampage. Not letting Thunder Rosa get a word in 1 week after a big title win and putting her on the defensive immediately was not the move to make. I don't like these lazy WWE tropes. That's from a guy whose his email is Mazanin. Back in a moment, Observer Live. I actually should devote like a whole show to this Colby Covington thing. He will press charges against Jorge Masvidal in connection with an alleged assault Monday outside a Miami Beach, Florida restaurant. Masvidal arrested Wednesday night, charged with aggravated battery with a mask and criminal mischief, released on $15,000 bond. According to Covington, 37-year-old Masvidal allegedly punched him twice while wearing a hooded sweatshirt and a mask over his face, fracturing a tooth, causing an abrasion on his wrist, in addition to $15,000 worth of damage to his $90,000 Rolex.
Wait, he actually got that thing appraised that quickly? I don't know about that.
Covington told police he identified Masvidal by his voice and hair sticking out from the hoodie. He identified him by his hair.
It's unique.
Masvidal and his agent then tweeted on social media shortly after the incident, indicating there was a conflict and that Covington had suffered some kind of injury to his teeth. Good thing you had that mask on, buddy.
I like how he did a show your face challenge, Colby Covington did. You know, really the show your ass challenge for both of these guys. They have won that multiple times.
Masvidal could face up to 15 years in prison for the battery charge if convicted. Formal charges expected to be filed soon, followed by a court date.
What would be crueler for Masvidal, getting any sort of jail time whatsoever for this, or having a second fight with Colby where he loses again?
Well, I also know that Conor was arrested and had his car seized on Tuesday due to dangerous driving. He was released after passing alcohol and drug tests, and his car was released back to him. So he was just driving like an idiot. There wasn't even like some, drug or alcohol related.
Was it all proper 12'd up?
I don't know. But anyway, he was pulled over, arrested, charged with several offenses that eventually ended up being the dangerous driving charge, which comes with a possible 6-month prison term and or fines. My guess is it'll probably end up being fines, because it's Conor! We're out of time! Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.